Hello everybody, it is Mrs. Brown and we are going to look at some daily slides for today. So it is our block day, and on our block day we have 4 classes on Wednesday, 4 classes on Thursday. So this is going to be a review for everybody. So our do now is DDT is a pesticide that was once widely used to control agricultural pests and mosquitoes. However, this pesticide caused the eggshells of searching birds, including the brown pelican, to become fragile and thin. The adults would then accidentally crush the eggs while trying to incubate them. What do you think happened in the brown pelican populations as a result of the DDT use by humans? Now again, you're going to go into Schoology. You're going to click on your Do Now. Let's see, here's today's Do Now. And we're going to answer that question right here in this blank. Type it in and hit Save. Okay? So what do you think happened? Well, what did we say? If they're eating poison, DDT is a pesticide, which means it kills pests. If they're eating these pests that have them and the poison gets into their system, what do you think happens? Well, that can cause problems with eggs and reproduction. So the shells were really thin, and when they sat on to incubate them, they squished them. If they squished the shells, do you think we had baby birds? Just some food for thought. Next, we're going to talk about our learning targets. We got 2 things we're going to do today. First, we're going to identify and distinguish 2 types of ecological succession. We're going to define primary and secondary. We're going to identify from a scenario which is occurring. And then we're going to conduct an exploration that's going to help you understand about populations and carrying capacities and overfishing, how they affect ecosystems. So there we're going to conduct an exploration as our success criteria and analyze data from explorations and apply it to real life. The first thing we did together is watch this video. I'm not going to click on it. The link is working. It'll actually be in the slides that are posted for today. You can click on it and watch it. It's about 10 minutes, and it's really a great video. But now I want to talk about what is primary succession. Well, primary succession is succession that occurs on surfaces where no soil exists. So if we don't have any soil, what do we have to start on? You got it, rocks. So, and we have some species to talk about. Pioneer species are the first species to populate an area during primary succession. Things like lichens. They have a symbiotic relationship between fungus and a photosynthetic organism, meaning they're kind of a cross between a fungus and a plant. And then a climax community is a community of plants and animals and fungi where, through ecological succession, they have reached a steady state. That means a state where everything's kind of in balance. Now remember from the video you watched, that crash course, that change is always coming. So it's right now, it's at a steady state right now till a change occurs. Our next slide is secondary succession. And this is succession following a disturbance that destroys a community without destroying the soil. So this one must start on, soil. What are some examples? I see a few hands raised. Okay, that's right. Forest fires, floods, tornadoes. That's cool. Okay, you got some of the really good ones. Okay, so that's amazing. So we're going to take a look at it. And could a community that has undergone secondary succession experience a climax community? Well, wait a minute. According to the video, it could. It just would be a different climax community, and we'd have a really great set of biodiversity and much complex ecological biodiversity. So we're having new species and new things. So that's really cool. So now we're going to look at slides 15 and 16. I'm going to have you do these on your own. Let's go to 15 and 16. Here's mine. Oops. 15. So primary. We said it started on rocks. So let's look. Lichens created, soil is formed, the glacier scrapes by the earth as it moves. Oh, that means we're going to expose some rocks. So we're going to bring that on over here. Okay, it leaves rock behind. All right. About a year later, they begin to grow on rocks. So this is the beginning. That would go there. Oh, explanation. I'm going to put these at the bottom here. You can drag and drop these along with me. As lichens break the rocks, very good. And so our last friend is there. So let's find some pictures that match these. Well, this looks like little plants. So that's little plants, that's beginnings. Okay, oh, that says glacial rock. This one has the lichens on those rocks. And here we got some bigger plants. So was this primary or secondary? Well, most of my friends believe that it is, yep, primary. So there you go. All right, that's awesome. So now we're gonna come down to slide 16. And we're gonna look, okay. So we talked about it. What was an event? Oh, we said fire. So this one starts with a fire coming through. So we'll put that here at the bottom. Okay, so and if we look at our pictures, I think this third one, yep, there we go, shows fire. And I'm gonna move my trees apart because I wanna kind of look at this. Well, if I look at the stages of the trees, I've got one that's just starting to grow, so that looks like it might go there. And this one's a little fuller, but the bottom isn't as green yet. Then I have this last one. There we go. That's awesome. All right. So now we're going to look at this. So weeds, grasses, trees. Well, weeds first after the fire. Yeah, weeds always come first. Even when you put in it, you know, you clean off an area, you get weeds back faster. Then the grasses. The definition of a weed is actually anything that is growing there that shouldn't be there. So that kind of messes things up a little. And then I got my trees grow and the forest now supports life. So you read those definitions through. Those are going to help you after watching the video which type of succession that this is. All right? So that's amazing. Thank you so much for walking through that with me. Now, if you were here, we talked about some questions. What is a resource? And we talked about water. We talked about the fish. Who owns the resources? Well, none of us own them. Who fishes the sea? Man and animals. And then does a country have a right to restrict fishing off its shores? And that's kind of another one of those things. It's a free resource. Do we have the right to restrict that? So that's something for you to think about. We took some cups and we took some Dixie cups. We had some goldfish and we fished and we collected data. I'm going to show you. We collected data. So we started with some fish and then we collected some data. We figured out how many fish we caught. We took our beginning fish, subtracted that, and how many we had left. And then like any population, everybody, depending on their fish left, were given some numbers. So if you're not with us, you can complete this form. Once you come back to class, we'll give you a form with some of the numbers. And you're going to graph this data. We had the months. I suggest that over here, our data is maybe number of fish caught. And you can do this. You can make a bar graph. You can make a line graph. Just make sure you include a legend that tells me what is what. And you're going to graph that. And then you're going to come along and you're going to answer these questions for me. Now, I'm going to kind of hold off on this. I may put one up and say, here it is with data, just so you can have a try at this. In fact, I will do that. I will post later today a chart page with some data in it, or I'll say, here's the data. Just post a chart so that you can fill this in and you can begin to do this and you could turn this in digitally if you're absent for today. But I hope that makes clear that we talked about yesterday some basic succession terms. You've seen a video. We talked about primary and secondary, and we talked about fish and what happens. So this will be some interesting fun. All right, thank you all, and we will see you on Friday. Now Friday, we're going to have a quiz over natural selection and long-term and short-term changes. So the video for Friday is going to be pretty short. All right, friends, I'll see you all Friday.